My name's Yo, and I'm a member of the Women's Health Therapies team at Kettering General Hospital. And we like to talk to you about pelvic floor exercises. So on this video, we're going to be as brief as we can and try and encourage you to do as many pelvic floor exercises as you possibly can. Okay, so I've got 4 really important questions that I would like to answer. First is where, then why, then how and when. So where is my pelvic floor? So I just happen to have a pelvis at the ready. It fits down by your waist. And if you look at that circle of bone, the pelvic floor would be where my hands are. It makes up the hammock of the floor of the pelvis. And so for 9 months or thereabouts, your baby has been swinging, or babies have been swinging on that hammock of muscle. In fact, they've probably been using it as a bit of a trampoline. And so that pelvic floor has suffered a little bit. And you may well have found that during pregnancy, you join what I call the lunch, laugh and leak club, where you have a bit of a giggle and oops, bit of a leak. Or you cough and sneeze and you have a bit of a leak. Now that's perfectly okay during pregnancy, but not something you should learn to live with. So part of the reason why, and there's my next question, why we do pelvic floor exercises is to ensure that that leakage stops as soon as possible. Okay, it also helps. By doing pelvic floor exercises, you help to improve the strength of those muscles, and those muscles act as a stabilizer for the pelvis. They're known as core stability muscles. So we need to make sure that the muscles below are stabilizing that pelvis as well as they possibly can, so that you are feeling stronger, okay, down there. Also, by doing pelvic floor exercises, you're going to increase the blood supply to that area. And increasing the blood supply will help with healing. It will help with healing for a cesarean, but it will also help with healing should you have had any trauma down there due to pushing baby through. So if you've had stitches or just bruising down there, it could help with that healing by getting the circulation down there. Also helps with that healing for the scar tissue so that it's all elasticated and works better down there. Okay, so some mighty good reasons I would suggest for doing pelvic floor exercises. Also a good plan if you ever want to enjoy sex again. You might not want to because look what happened last time. But should you want to, those are the muscles that work hard when we're really enjoying ourselves. Okay, right, so I reckon we've done the where, we've done the why. What we need to think about is how. Now, a lot of ladies have heard of pelvic floor exercises, but don't really know how to do them. Now, what we're talking about is squeezing between your legs as though you're trying to stop yourself having a wee or passing wind. Okay, so it's that sort of a squeeze. Now, some ladies, as soon as I say that, go, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about, Yo, that's no problem, I can do that. Some ladies go, not too sure what I'm doing there, Yo. So if you're not sure, one of the best ways to sense that you're squeezing those muscles correctly is to actually sit on a chair, a harder chair rather than the sofa that I'm on, a harder chair, sit on the chair, get your legs apart in that gentlemanly, unladylike fashion, and get your elbows on your knees. Now, if getting your elbows on your knees is uncomfortable, then maybe what you do is you sit at a table and you put your elbows on the table, exactly like your mother told you never to. Right, and you stick your bum out a little bit, do a little bit of a wiggle, have your feet flat on the floor, and strangely enough, if your toes are just pointing slightly inwards, rather than outwards like a frog, slightly inwards, you should feel that pelvic floor squeezing easier. You should be able to feel it better. Because this position, sticking your bum out, stops you using those big bum cheek muscles that are right in those, they're just the big bum cheek muscles. It stops you using them. Okay, so once you know how to squeeze it, what we need to do is try and get you to do that squeezing as much as possible. Okay, so we'll try and hook it on something because everybody knows pelvic floor exercises and nobody does them. So what I want to try and do is hook it on something so perhaps you'll remember. All right. Now, us in the Therapies team talk about a session of pelvic floor exercises being 10 fast ones, 10 slow ones, 1 big one. Let me try and explain that to you. My 10 fast ones are just where you squeeze and let go. Squeeze and let go. Now, bear in mind, I'm bouncing up and down, but nobody should actually see you doing your pelvic floor exercises. So I'm doing them now, but you're not telling that. But if I do that, you can't see me, so I'll pretend I'm squeezing. All right, so we're squeezing and then let go. Those are the fast ones. It's like switch on and then off. On and then off. 10 fast ones. 10 slow ones. What I'd like you to try is squeeze and maybe hold for 2 or 3 seconds. Now, just start with 2 or 3 seconds because it's really important that you have a great deal of control over that pelvic floor. And if you try and hold for too long, what usually happens is it sort of drapes off and you realise that you haven't actually got that control. So start holding for 2 or 3 seconds, relax for 2 or 3 seconds and try and do 10 of those with the first squeeze as good as the 10th one. Once you can do that, then you might try and hold on a little bit longer. So you might try for 3 or 4 seconds. If you're going for the Olympic gold medal in pelvic floor exercises, you'd be able to hold it for 10 seconds. But that's an Olympic gold medal. And that's a long way down the line if you've just had a baby. Okay, so what we're going for, holding for 2 or 3 seconds, relax for 2 or 3 seconds, 10 of those. And as I said, get that length a little bit better as you get stronger. And then the one big one is squeeze for England, as hard and as high as you can possibly get it. It's strong, it's not long. So you're not trying to hold on, you just give it welly. And actually that one people might see you doing, because if everything else gets involved with that, we don't mind. We just want you to really, really squeeze as hard as you can get it. Okay, now we would exercise any muscle for speed, endurance and power. It's exactly what we're doing for the pelvic floor. Speed with the 10 fast ones. Endurance, you're building up that strength and being able to hold it for just that little bit longer. And the power lift for the pelvic floor would be that last one, and you just do one of those. Now that's a session of pelvic floor exercises. And what we think about is the when. And we go with whenever you're feeding baby, because normally you're just sat there, aren't you? Can't go anywhere, can't do very much. So if you think pelvic floor exercises, imagine me on your shoulder going, do your pelvic floor exercises. Do your 10 fast, 10 slow, 1 big one every time you feed. Because that means you're likely to be feeding quite a lot in these next few days and weeks. That means you'll get lots and lots of pelvic floor exercises done now, which is when we need it done. So every time you feed that little one, please, pelvic floor exercises. Make sure you're doing them, squeezing as much as you possibly can. You can't really overdo them. All right. Now, if things are a little bit sore down there, then please try a few. We're not this no pain, no gain. There's nothing like that. Just try a few, and then the next day try a few more, or the next feed try a few more, and just build it up gently. Don't want you to be in pain. Just want to get that blood supply, build up that strength, and create a really good healing atmosphere down there, so that things get better quicker. All right. Now, one thing I would like to say, just please remember your body is now fixing itself and fixing itself faster than it does at any other time in its life. But it still needs you to be looking after it, because unless you look after yourself, nobody's going to look after the baby. We need you to look after yourself so that there's someone to look after the baby. So please don't try and be super mum. Take some rests as much as you possibly can. Be sensible, but enjoy your baby. It's a privilege and an exciting time for you, and I hope you feel that way too. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day.